So now that we discussed that, how can you use hooks in your case study and how should you use them? Now let's talk about the climax of the story, which should be the most exciting part of your story, right? It's going to sit on the top. This is where the most important and most exciting part is going to happen. Just first clarify what a climax is, to make it sure that we understand we are on the same page. Climax is the turning point where the main conflict reaches its peak intensity and the outcome becomes clear. It's the most dramatic and emotional moment leading to the resolution of the story. This is the definition of the client. Now, I hope you're already thinking like, oh my God, like, what is my turning point inside my project? How can I figure out like what could be the turning point inside my boring project? Don't worry, I'm going to answer it. So again, the climax is sitting on the top. This is the most tenseful, most exciting part, and it usually is somewhere in the middle of your timeline. And just to give you an example of like how a story looks like without a climax point, Lion King is a really good example. Probably I could have found any more other examples, but it's easy to visualize it. So imagine the Lion King, the first episode, right? There is just so many drama happening. Simba is like losing his father, then he's going on this hero's journey. He is meeting with his friends, and then eventually he's going to revenge his father's betrayal. But what happens if there was no drama, there was no climax, there was no conflict, where everybody would have just chilled in one place, everybody would have been just like really having a good time, just enjoying themselves, and the kingdom is staying as is? I don't think it would have made any really good story, and no one is. And basically anyone who has ever written any kind of story, basically every story, no matter if it's a book, it's a TV series or a movie, cartoon, just like Simba or Lion King, it's going to follow sort of a similar storyline. Because if we have a conflict, if we have a basically ups and downs, and we can worry about our main characters, this is why a story going to become exciting, because there are tension and there are stakes of like what's going to happen. There is excitement inside the story, and this is what we also wanna evoke inside our case study, and this is why we wanna also find that climax moment. So in our UX case study, it's actually going to mean, for example, when we wanna make sure that there is a climax event sitting on the top, the reason why it's really good, because it's going to help keep the interest of the hiring manager, right? There will be anticipation. This way, the story feels more emotional, more personal, more relatable, more unique. And the climax is a core principle of storytelling. So question is that how do we identify, how we're going to notice or find our climax? Here is a set of questions which you can ask from yourself or ask about the project. And if you answer them, you're going to have the climax point. So for example, what was interesting about my project? What made this project different? Did something significant go wrong? Was there any big event, pitch, or meeting to prepare for? Was there a pivot during the project? Did you learn something significant from this project? Did you do something which you weren't expected to do? If you ask these kind of questions, usually the answer is going to be, or could be, your climax moment.